You think you can hide forever? Reaper, it's time to face what you ran from.
Shadows never abandon theirs.
You know, it was just another dusty morning at Camp Lejeune, the kind where the North Carolina sun starts baking everything before you've even finished your first cup of coffee. And I was there, Elena Ramirez, pushing my mop across the rifle range floor like I'd done every day for the past couple years. Nothing special, just keeping things clean, staying out of sight, you know? But then, out of nowhere, the sharp rattle of gunfire, not the usual training pops, but something meaner. Foreign rifles barking like they owned the place shattered everything. And suddenly Captain Ryan Caldwell was bursting into the armory, his face all twisted up in that mix of fury and fear, grabbing me by the arm and yelling, "You, cleaning lady, you're coming with me and eat bait. And you're it." I mean, can you imagine? Me, a 35-year-old nobody in faded coveralls, heart pounding like a drum, thinking this has to be some nightmare. But no. It was real. Terrorists had taken the training tower, holding 18 young Marines hostage, demanding the release of their buddies from Gitmo. And Caldwell, this big-shot Delta Force guy with his perfect record and zero patience for weak links, decided I was expendable, shoving a bulky vest on me and pushing me toward the door like I was just another tool in his kit. I stood there frozen for a second, the weight of that vest pulling at my shoulders, ceramic plates that felt like they could stop a truck. But what good would that do if my head got taken off? And through the window, I could see those kids up in the tower, barely out of high school, kneeling with guns to their heads. One of them, a girl named Mia Lopez from Texas, her eyes wide with that raw terror you can't fake. The leader, this guy Ahmed Khalil from some splinter group out of Iraq, they'd snuck in through old utility tunnels, planned it for months, all because of some grudge against U.S. ops that wiped out his village years back. Or so the radio chatter said, was laughing over the open frequency, cold as ice, 10 minutes, or the first one bleed, send a real fighter, not your cowards. Caldwell didn't even look at me as he barked orders to his last two guys, Sergeant Ortiz and that wounded operator, Jenkins, who'd taken a graze but was still clutching his rifle like a lifeline. They were pinned down, their team shredded in the initial ambush, bodies sprawled in the dirt. And here I was, supposed to zigzag across 70 yards of open ground, drawing fire so they could spot the shooters. My mind raced. Why me? I'd chosen this life to disappear, to scrub away the past, but now it was dragging me back, and as I stepped out, legs shaking, the first shot cracked the air, kicking up gravel at my feet, and I ran not straight. Oh no, serpentine like I'd forgotten, but my body remembered, dodging left, right, a bullet tugging at the vest, spinning me, but not dropping me. In that chaos, something inside clicked, like an old switch flipping on. Behind the barrier where I'd slid in like some action movie stunt, gravel scraping my knees, Raw Jenkins was staring at me, blood on his face, whispering hoarsely, "Lady, what the hell? Drop that rifle, you'll get us killed." But I couldn't. My hands were already on the tack. 50 he'd dropped. The weight familiar, too familiar. Chamber checked, safety off. And as bullets sparked off the concrete, I peered through the scope, wind at 8 knots left to right, range 1,100 yards. Adjustments flowing like muscle memory in there, 4th floor window, a shooter leaning out, focused on Caldwell's position. I exhaled slow, found that quiet space between heartbeats, the one I'd buried deep after Afghanistan, and squeezed, the rifle kicking like an old friend, and up there, the guy's head jerked back, gone, his weapon tumbling down like scrap. The radio blew up. Who the fuck is shooting? Identify. But I was already lining up the next, 3rd floor, half hidden behind a pillar, smart bastard thinking he was safe. But I'd learned ricochets in the Hindu Kush, threading bullets like needles, so I angled it just right. Crack in the flash inside confirmed it. 2 down, and Ortiz's voice came through, awed. "Keep going. Whoever you area ghost." Colonel Maria Vargas in the command bunker was pacing, her screens showing the impossibly a janitor in coveralls picking off terrorists like it was target practice, and she leaned in, whispering to her aide, "That stance. I've seen it before, in classified files. Get me a visual now." Drone feed zoomed, and there I was, tattoo peeking from under my shirt as I shifted, a Reaper skull with crosshairs eyes. Numbers below. 2589, the meters of my longest kill, Helmand Province, 2019, and Vargas's face went pale. Holy shit, it's Reaper supposed to be dead. But Khalil wasn't done. He pulled his men back, using the kids as shields, bomb vests wired on them, the kind that had turned the tower into a crater if anyone breached. And there was Mia, dragged to the window, pistol to her temple, Khalil snarling over the airwaves. Your shooter thinks they're clever? Watch this one down, starting now. My scope narrowed 150 yards, wind gusting to 12. Target barely 2 inches exposed behind her, impossible for most. But I'd made worse in dust storms, heart slowing as I whispered to myself, not today, you bastard, and fired, the round clipping his wrist. Pistol flying, Mia dropping smart, giving me the clear center mass. He folded like paper. Cheers erupted, but premature Khalil's heavy gun swung out, chewing the barrier to dust, forcing me to roll. Think fast, and then the whoop-whoop of a Black Hawk incoming. Doorgunner lighting up, ropes dropping, real operators, but Khalil hit a switch. You win nothing. Phase 2, they all burn. Vests blinking red, dead man's trigger in his hand, positioned perfect behind beams and body. No shot. Or so he thought, forgetting me down here, the wind dying just right. Hostages shifting that tiny gap. I waited, caressed the trigger, and sent it, threading fate, his head snapping, switch falling, harmless. Steam swarmed. It was over, kids safe, medics rushing, but as I stood, legs jelly, trying to slip back to the armory like nothing happened, just a lucky cleaner. Vargas's voice boomed. Freeze. Right there. She strode up, eyes locked on me, guards flanking, strip the coverall. Snow. And I did, tank top revealing the scars, the tattoo. And she stepped close, voice low, 2589 meters, Hellman, March 22nd, 2019. Hello, Reaper, we thought you died in Afghanistan. The crowd of Marines went silent, whispers rippling. Reaper? The legend who vanished. And Caldwell pushed through, face crumbling from shock to shame, realizing he'd baited a Silver Star hero, someone who'd saved hundreds in ops no one talked about, his ego shattering right there as he muttered, I didn't know. Vargas cuffed me gently. Master Sergeant Laura Reyes, you're under for AWOL from Shadow Unitrite. Start now. And as they led me away, relief washed over me. 3 years hiding, punishing myself for what went wrong over there. Maybe it was time to face it. But deeper, I knew this wasn't random. Khalil's attack timed with the anniversary of Operation Nightfall. Someone pulling strings to flush me out, confirm I was alive, and as the hello lifted for Langley, Caldwell tagging along, guilt eating him, he finally asked over the rotors, Afghanistan, what really happened? I need to know who I almost sacrificed. I stared out at the coastline, scrolling below peaceful farms, oblivious folks inside. It matters now? You all buried it as delusion back then. The facility was sterile as ever, white walls, no soul suits waiting, led by Deputy Director Ellis Kane from CIA, the guy who'd labeled me crazy 3 years ago, smiling that snake oil grin. Sergeant Reyes, or should I say Ramirez? Let's chat about Black Site 9. The room tensed. Even Vargas blinked. That site was myth-level classified, and I leaned back. You mean where you took our asset after the ambush? The one who wasn't Iraqi intel, but one of yours bait to trap my team. Caldwell's eyes widened. What? And I spilled it. Voice steady but edged. Operation Nightfall. Extracted defector with chem weapon plans, but it was too smooth. Guards exactly where predicted. Warning bells I ignored. Then at exfil, hell rained. RPGs. Capture, not kill. They wanted us alive for experiments, pushing human limits on pain, resistance, American tech in enemy hands. Scars on my arms surgical, precise, and Kane's facade cracked. You're accusing us of betraying Delta? Not accusing, stating, I said, pulling the fake tooth drive. Proof here. Vids. Records. I escaped after 19 days, gathered it all, but you called me broken, so I vanished. Uproar, denials flying, but then alarms blared. Lights out. Attack on the building. Professional. Our gear in the flashbangs. I grabbed a pistol, dropped 2 intruders, Caldwell fighting beside me, grunting. We hold for what it's worth, I'm sorry. And Vargas flipped the table for cover, barking. Thereafter the drive. It led to the comms room, drawing them in, uploading the files wide. In there he was, the asset, Colonel Victor Hale, alive, uniform crisp, smirking. Laura, Darlingivi been a thorn, but the program's breakthroughs. Imagine unbreakable soldiers. I spat. You tortured your own 11 dead for your science. He chuckled, miffed. Acceptable for progress. How many did you drop as Reaper? Same coin. And as the upload hit 95%, he advanced. Drop it'll refine you. But Caldwell slipped in behind. Our eyes meeting, I stalled. One thing about Shadows, we never abandon ours. And Caldwell fired. Hail spinning. Me finishing with 2 to the chest. 1 head upload done. Attackers fleeing as real security swarmed. 6 months later, at Arlington, I stood by 11 Stone's official training accident. Now truth exposed. Scandal ripped the agencies, arrests, reforms hails cabal viewing troops as lab rats. All from power grabs, covering failed ops with twisted experiments. Caldwell found me, promoted now, teaching ethics. They're offering you back General Star even. But I touched me as fresh Graveshed re-enlisted, inspired, died saving her platoon in Yemen and shook my head. I've got work cleaning ranges, honest keeps me grounded. He nodded, walking off, but by the stone, a package, another drive. Note, Afghanistan was star they know you're out ready? A friend. My phone buzzed encrypted, Reaper, Black Site 13, it's repeating. I pocketed it, gazing at the rows 11 names needing justice, me a vengeance. More out there betrayed by the system meant to protect. Was I right to dive back? Or should ghosts stay buried? Coordinates. I said some fights never end, they just wait. Phew, reliving that. It changed everything, you know? Made me question trust, loyalty. Who's the real enemy sometimes? If you've got a story like this, maybe underestimated someone who turned hero, or dealt with betrayal in your own circle, drop it in the comments. Let's talk. Was I right to hide, or fight? Justice served, or just scratch the surface? Share your take, hit like if it hit home. Subscribe for more real talk tales. And let's keep the conversation going. Your thoughts could spark the next big reveal.